To see or not to see? That was the question for Parliament when Workplace Relations Minister Brooke Van Velden chose to use the C word in full today during a fiery debate in the House. She took umbrage at a column by Andrea Vance in the Sunday Star Times. In it, Vance used the expletive to describe senior women ministers who backed the pay equity law change. Lloyd Burr reports.
It was an extraordinary moment in parliamentary history.
To girl bosses, hype squads, references to girl math and c***s.
The C-bomb being dropped by Workplace Relations Minister Brooke Van Velden. So how did it get to this? It starts here with an opinion piece by Sunday Star Times National Affairs editor Andrea Vance, who blasted the government's repeal and replacement of pay equity laws. She called senior female ministers, among other things, the C word. Along came Labour's Jan Tinetti, who quoted that article during today's question time.
Does she agree with Andrea Vance, who said about the Equal Pay Amendment Bill, quote, "It is a curious feminist moment, isn't it? 6 girl bosses, Willis, her hype squad, Judith Collins, Erica Stanford, Louise Upston, Nicola Grigg and Brooke Van Velden, all united in a historic act of economic backhanding other women."
But before Van Velden could answer it, a chorus of MPs tried getting the question thrown out.
That member is asking a question containing material derived from an article designed to bring my colleagues into disrepute.
This question refers to girl bosses and hype squads. How can that be consistent with 192(5) about discreditable references to any member of Parliament?
Questions must be concise and not contain discreditable references to the House or any member of the Parliament or any offensive or unparliamentary expression.
But Speaker Jerry Brownlee dismissed the concerns.
Well, how would a democracy work if there can be never any questions in the House about what people outside the House have to say? What people are reading in their newspapers, etc., etc. Why would you want to deny the minister the opportunity to refute that?
So the question was allowed, but the drama didn't stop there.
Mr. Speaker, it was hard to find a single sentence in Andrea Vance's article I agree with.
That would be enough of an answer. Another supplementary?
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
No, there's no point of order on this. You've answered the question. It's a controversial question. I'm keeping order in the House. The member would be advised to take my advice, resume her seat and take the next supplementary.
Which kicked off another round of objections.
Mr. Speaker, point of order. I was not given the opportunity to answer the second part of that question, so I did not answer the primary question.
With respect, I ruled that you did answer enough of it. Point of order. This better be something that's really useful.
I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, we've got a minister here who has been attacked by a very questionable question. And I think the best thing that can happen right now, instead of everyone else interrupting, she'd be given a full opportunity to respond the way she wants to.
Well, thank you for your view. I don't agree with you.
The steam was continuing to build.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a strong woman and I can speak for myself.
Absolutely.
That's good. And you only get to do that. You only get to do that when you're called to do it.
Which she eventually was, and Van Velden let rip.
I disagree with the comments made, and particularly the note of the use of the term backhanded, which refers to Andrea Vance's article, which was quoted from this weekend. And I do not agree with the clearly gendered and patronising language that Andrea Vance used to reduce senior cabinet ministers to girl bosses, hype squads, references to girl math and c***s. The women of this government are hard-working, dedicated and strong.
That's right.
No woman in this parliament, nor in this country, should be subjected to sex-based discrimination.
Winston Peters was seen with his head in his hands, and when he left the chamber...
I've seen some bad times in this House, but this is one of the lowest I've ever seen. When you go to that sort of standard language, nothing is beneath you after that, is it?
Others were praising her.
I'd like to congratulate Brooke Van Velden for showing immense courage in calling out what has been a very sorry episode.
We were fairly surprised by the use of it in a newspaper column, so I think most New Zealanders find it pretty offensive, and I certainly did.
Jan Tinetti, unrepentant about her role in it.
There are certain words there that I cannot I cannot stand.
So should she have used that word in the Parliament?
Well, I wouldn't. And it was used today, and I didn't like it. I didn't like hearing it. I struggled with hearing it.
But you sort of brought that on, though.
I don't believe I did. That was a choice that was made.
A choice of words that's now in Hansard for the first time and forever.
Well, Lloyd is with us now. Lloyd, an extraordinary day in the House. Have you heard anything from Andrea Vance and the Sunday Star Times?
Yeah, I have received a statement, Sam, and I'll read it in a tick, but just beforehand and for transparency's sake, I should say that 3 News and the Sunday Star Times, they have the same parent company. We're owned by the same company. But the statement is from Joanna Norris. She's the Managing Director of Stuff Masthead Publishing, a company that publishes newspapers right around the country. And this is what the statement says. Changes to pay equity legislation under urgency have caused robust debate on all sides. And this is not the first time the editors have allowed the use of that word, the C word. It was carefully reviewed by experienced editors, and on this occasion it was decided it was acceptable in the context of the column. Now, Andrea Vance and her editor, Tracy Watkins, they've received both strong support for and criticism of the column's views and the manner in which they were expressed, but they do add that the Minister of Finance did have a right of reply article published on the Stuff website afterwards. That is all the statement says, and I doubt when they wrote it they knew that it would be the source of such an explosive and extraordinary day in Parliament's debating chamber. Now, the Labour Party says the government is using this to kind of whip up a bit of hysteria, which acts as a distraction from the actual issue, which is pay equity and 150,000 women not getting paid as much as they would have under the old regime. And I guess today you could argue that that distraction is working.